Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this IdeaPad 315II-L05. Alright, so we're going to be using a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver, and we're going to be removing all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like this. In the pattern, I remove them. So 3, 3, and 4. Okay. Alright, we're going to be replacing the screen on here, but also taking a look inside because we have to disconnect the battery beforehand. Alright, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. These are customer computers, so keep that in mind. I don't actually own these devices. But yeah, so by the time you see this video, I likely won't have the device on hand anymore. Okay. Anyways, the 3 back here are longer screws, and then the 4 in front appear to be shorter. Okay, so don't get them all mixed up. You don't want to damage your computer by putting the wrong screws in the wrong spots. Okay. Alright, so once we've got all the screws out, we're going to have to pop this out. I think we're going to have to use like a pry tool in this little gap here. So here you can see there's a little gap between the bottom cover and this palm rest part. I like to use my fingernails to get in the gap, and then I push with my thumb. Ooh, you can see it turned itself on. I'm going to turn it back off. I think it's showing the Lenovo, so I don't know if I can. I might have to plug it into an external monitor to shut it down properly. Let me do that real quick to make sure it's not actually on. I don't know if this model turns itself on when you open and close the screen, but I need to make sure it shuts down properly, so I'll do that and I'll be back. I'm gonna just plug it into an external monitor and push the shutdown button. Alright, I'm back. So let's go ahead and pop this thing open. Again, I'm gonna use my fingernails to get in this gap and then push with my thumb on the palm rest. You don't want to push on the trackpad or touchpad. Okay, and here you can see it's popping out very easily. Again, you can use pry tools if you want. Oh, why did it turn itself on again? So this computer is weird. It keeps wanting to turn itself back on. So I guess we're gonna have to just disconnect the battery to make sure it turns off completely. Alright, I mean, we have to do that anyways, but alright, I'm gonna slide my fingernail along there while pulling up on the cover. We're gonna turn it around and do the same thing on this side. Okay, then for the back, hopefully we can kind of just wiggle it around to pull it up, or do we have to pry on this? Okay, so I'm pulling the cover this way while I'm kind of lifting it up, okay, to disengage the latches. So I'm pushing my thumb here while kind of pulling on it, but it looks like it works better from one side than the other. Okay, there we go. And that's what it looks like underneath the cover. Okay, set that aside for now. Okay, so you can see there's only one stick of RAM here. The other stick is actually soldered to the board right here. CPU is soldered to the motherboard, so you can't change that. Battery is right here. Let me actually zoom in here so you guys can see better. So battery model, is there a battery model number here? Here we go. Battery model numbers here, L16C2PB1. All right. That's the battery model. This kind of battery, you have to kind of just get the cable and pull it back this way. All right, it slides out from this metal sleeve here. You got the BIOS, CMOS, or RTC real-time clock battery here. If you disconnect this, the date and time is going to get messed up, and the boot options might change. Right? Oh, there's a bunch of like junk stuck on this thing. I'm gonna have to take this out and clean it. It's pretty dirty. There is an M.2 SSD here. This is a PCIe NVMe SSD, and you can use one of the longer types, so you can use the longer SSDs. You just got to take the one screw out here. Okay, once you take that screw out, I believe that's also a PH1 or JS1. Once you remove that, the SSD can come up slightly at an angle. You can pull it out. I'll show you. It's like the RAM. And then you can insert a new one. If you are going to do that, to put a new SSD, make sure you either clone it from this SSD to the new one first, or that you have a way to reinstall Windows onto the new SSD. Okay, there's a slot here for a second hard drive, but I don't see the connector included here. So if you want to add that, you have to find the little adapter here. I believe it connects here. Yep, JHDD1. All right, so it will connect with the ribbon cable here. you have a ribbon cable here, and so there's the keyboard, and I'm pretty sure there's the trackpad. We are going to have to take out the battery, so actually let me do that, because it looks like I can't leave the battery in here to take it out. So there's one screw in this corner. Again, keep all the screws in order. They are different size, shape, and lengths. These screws are actually thinner than the ones from the bottom case. So if you mix up the screws and put the bottom case screws here, you're gonna not be able to put these small screws back properly. Okay, so we got those 3 screws out. Let's see if we can lift this up now. Yep. Okay, and then to disconnect the battery, I lift this slightly, and then I push down here while kind of pulling it backwards, and we're gonna kind of wiggle it. All right, so this connector is a little bit difficult to remove, but there we go. Okay, and make sure if you get a new battery, you have it the same way. The red wires are going out towards the CMOS battery, and the black wires are going towards the keyboard connector here. Right, this battery is super tiny. I don't know why. It looks like they could have fit a much larger battery, but that's how they did it. Okay, here you can see, yep, keyboard connector and trackpad connector. These all have little flip latches where you can flip this up. If you use your finger, slide it to latch it back down. Don't try and poke it with like a tool or your fingernail. All right, and then this one, same thing. There's a latch, but it's on this side. Okay, you got the wireless card here, fan connector here. Fan looks pretty easy to remove. There's 3 screws. I'm not gonna mess around with too much stuff because the only thing they need help with is the screen. All right, you got the headphone jack and SD card slot on this one board here, and there's also the 1 key recovery button here that you can press with a little pin, that little pinhole. That allows you to access the temporary boot device, BIOS, and other options like that. Okay. All right, you can see it's connected with this, and it actually also connects the speakers here. So if the speakers suddenly stop working, it could be this cable, or it could be the speakers here. Speaker cable runs along, then this cable runs along to the other speaker down here. Okay. Now for the RAM here, to remove the RAM, just pull the 2 tabs to the side. It pops up at an angle like that, just like I said with the SSD here. The wireless card does the same thing. The antennas, if you want to remove them, you just pull straight up from the tails. I have a lot of videos showing how to remove those. I don't want to mess around with that because sometimes the soldering is bad and those break off. So yeah. All right, so here's the RAM, and you can see it's an 8 gig PC4 3200 AA. You should be able to use any PC4 3200 AA RAM, but I don't know if this is an 8 gig stick. So if you put like an 8 gig and then a 16 gig, it's not going to work properly with dual channel memory. So it might actually run a little bit slower. All right, then you got the connectors here for the screen. This is the LCD LVDS connector, and this is most likely for the camera and microphones. All right, but that's pretty much all there is inside here. I'm going to slowly, carefully open this up. You want to be careful because, oops, let me zoom out. You want to be careful because now it's missing 2 screws here that help hold the hinges down. So we're going to slowly, carefully open it up. And then I'm going to press and hold the power button for 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This is very important when replacing the screen. If you don't do this, you can actually fry the motherboard and possibly even burn or melt the screen or the screen connectors. All right. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to go ahead and take this outside, clean off the dust, and I'll be back. All right, see you guys in a bit. And one other thing, when you close this, because it's missing the screws, you want to actually help push down on the hinges here on both sides. Okay, so that way it's not putting all the force on the screws that are on the outer edges over here and here. Okay, so I'm going to clean this dust out, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back, so let's go ahead and pop this thing off. Again, we cleaned all the dust out. The fan looked like there might be some dust trapped there, so let me try taking this out. If it comes out with these 3 screws, then we can maybe check inside and clean that up. All right, so let's get those 3 screws out. Alright, and these screws are different size, shape, and lengths as well, so be careful with that. This one's actually a bit longer. Okay, and we can at least lift it a little bit. I don't want to lift it too much out because it looks like I'd have to unroute all these cables. Okay, I got most of the dust out, so I think we're okay. There's this little bit of dust that kind of came out as well. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up slightly and get the brush in there. And then try and do the same with the thing there, okay? And then we'll clean it out this way. You can see we're able to get a big dust ball out of here, so good thing we opened that up. Okay, let's actually take a look inside, and it looks like it's clean now. Okay, maybe a little bit more clean just to be safe. Okay, we should be good. Let's get the fan back into place. Again, if you want, you can take all these out, but yeah, the customer just wanted me to do the screen repair, and this is already doing way more than I should be doing, but I always figured it's better to keep the computer working well than having it have issues later in the future, so I have it open now, might as well clean it. And it looks really good and clean inside now, so there's really no point to completely take it out unless you're just not able to access it for some reason. Okay. Alright, so that looks good. I got all those screws in. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see about getting to the screen. Okay, let's go ahead and carefully open this up. Again, if you want, you can help hold the hinges here to provide additional support since it's missing the screws. I'm going to use the screen while it's like on my desk and then pull it like that to open it. Okay, let's see. Is this one going to require me to take the whole thing off? I might end up having to open the whole screen to get this bezel off. Let's go ahead and see if we can take the plastic bezel off without removing that. So what we're going to do, we're going on the inside edge and we're just pulling it up. Oh, there's adhesive holding this. Okay, so we're going to work our way, pushing it in this way as we kind of twist it, pull it up like that. Okay, and you can see it came out relatively easy. There is some adhesive there, so if it's not coming out, you want to go slow. Okay, it does take quite a bit of force. You can see we got most of it out already. Okay, it looks like this has adhesive tabs holding it in place. Okay, there's also adhesive down here. Oh, I should have blown the keyboard out to clean up all that dust. Alright, so this is probably going to be a bit more difficult than I'm expecting. Okay, wow, this doesn't want to come out at all. This slowly, carefully. Okay, it's separated the plastic layer. So there's two layers here. Probably can't even see that. Let's see here. So you can actually see it's separating this. There's a black layer here. So I want to actually keep that black layer attached to the screen if I can. So I'm running my finger along to push that back away. Okay, just like this. Okay, but as you can see, it just separates. I mean, the old screen's broken, so it's fine. But normally, this can be a little bit risky. It can damage the screen. So, oh man, it's separated extra layers over there. So this is going to be a pain. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to get that out because it separated the layers there. Okay, I'm going to try with this tool to get behind the adhesive and then push it forward. Okay, they put too much adhesive on this. Okay, it's working. Alright. And again, you want to make sure that your computer is completely off and the battery's disconnected, and that you press and hold the power button for 15 seconds before attempting this kind of thing. Alright, so I kind of just wanted to see if I have to take this stuff out. Do I? Oh, I might have to take that piece out. That's gonna suck. Yeah, I don't think this, I think this piece, this plastic piece here, we're gonna have to slide it out. So we're most likely going to have to undo the hinge assembly. So let me get this thing back in. Okay, we're going to slowly, carefully close this thing back up. Again, helping hold the hinges in place. And closing that down. Okay, so I'm going to actually flip this latch up here to remove this, let me zoom in. So I flip that latch up. We're gonna go ahead and pull this back. This cable can be a little tough. You want to pull only on the plastic piece, okay? Let me see if I can show this better. Okay, so I'm going to use my fingernails to grab the plastic piece and kind of just wiggle it to pull it back, just like that. Okay, you can see this cable's mounted like this, so we're going to get it out from there. Hopefully you were able to see that. Okay, then we're going to go over to this side. Let's actually unroute the wireless antennas. I was trying to avoid that, but I guess we're going to have to. If you want, you can leave it attached to the wireless card, and that's a little bit safer if it works. So let's go ahead and actually take the screw out from the wireless card. Okay, and then we're going to lift the wireless card up slightly. Oh, I guess the wireless antennas just came out, so we don't need to do that. I guess we'll just do it that way. All right, but anyways, if you are taking the wireless card out, oh, and also I didn't pay attention, but usually the black wire goes to the black arrow and the gray or white wire goes to the white arrow, but that's not always the case. So you want to check yours to confirm. All right, anyways, you can actually pull the wireless card out just like that, but we're going to leave that in, and we're going to actually put the screw back since we don't have to remove that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that screw, and we'll get this in. Okay, and then I guess to make it easier, let's actually take the fan screws back out again. All right. All right, and that will make it easier to get the wireless antennas out since they are threaded all around under there. Let's actually also disconnect the fan connector. So just grab the wings of it and then wiggle it just like the other ones. And it might feel like it's not coming out, but just keep wiggling it, wiggling and pulling, and eventually it will pop out just like that. Okay, and we're gonna pull this up, and we're just gonna unroute these cables. Okay, so let me see, this goes under. Okay, so I think they all go under, right? Under, so it goes over this piece and then it goes under this. So all the hooks, it likes to go under the hooks. And we'll set the fan aside. If you need the fan model information, here you go. It's really hard to read this, but oh, there you go, DFS5K 1211549 Okay, and here you go. And then there's this little barcode or QR code model information there. All right, we're going to set that aside. All right, we did already clean this, but let's see if any more dust. Nah, that's as clean as it's going to get. All right, we're going to now unroute these antennas here and here. Okay, you got to lift one wire at a time, find out which one's on top, and lift that through first, okay? And if you're wondering, the wireless antennas are on top of the hinge here, and then this wire seems to be in front of the hinge, not underneath or on top. Okay, so when you take it out, you want to make sure to put it back the same. All right, now, oops, what you're going to do, you want to, again, help hold the hinges down. We're going to open the screen up to about 90 degrees or so. Okay, if you want, you can kind of put it as a pyramid on your desk, but the easiest way is you hang the screen off the edge, okay, of your desk. All right, let me zoom out and see if I can show you this without showing too much of the junk everywhere. Okay, and then we're going to take out these two screws here. We are going to use some thread locker afterwards because these screws, if they come loose, can actually damage the hinges. So I always like to add thread locker to these afterwards. All right, and then we got the two screws over here. We're going to do the same thing. Okay. All right, now that we got those 4 screws out, we should be able to lift the screen up, okay, just like this. Okay. All right, and then we can actually set this aside, and we got the screen here. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom back in. You don't need to see my legs. Okay, so now this piece, if I'm right, we should be able to slide it over left or right. Let's see. If we can't, then we might have to pop it off. Maybe it's clipped. Okay, so it did slide over to the right to the antennas hinges or the antenna cables. And there you go. You can actually see the clips here. They actually angle like this. So what happens is the thing in the other part latches underneath like that and locks it into place. Okay. And make sure you don't flip this upside down when you try and put it back. You have the flat side of this piece towards the bottom, and then this rounded curve edge is going up towards the top. Okay, we'll set that aside now. And let's go ahead now and take the screen bezel off. So I kind of already showed how to remove that, and we already removed most of it. Okay, so let's go ahead now and lift this up, and hopefully it will come out. It's still stuck with some adhesive in the back, I think. Yeah. Let go, please. There we go. All right, so here we go. We got this bezel off. Okay. If you want, you can actually peel off all this adhesive stuff. It's not actually needed. Okay, they just like to put that to make it extra secure and so that people break their devices when they actually take it apart. I think it's a thing so they know that you opened it, so if anything goes wrong, they can blame you. Okay, but anyways, let's go ahead and peel this stuff up. Okay, I actually don't want this extra like material here because it can put pressure on the screen. The new screen actually won't have any of the adhesive, so it should be okay, but I like to try and peel it up if I can. Okay, so let's go ahead. This one's actually pretty tough to peel up, so I might end up leaving it, but at least for the bottom part, I'm gonna try and peel it up because this one's like looks like a foam adhesive that's much thicker. Okay. Alright. Wow, this stuff is very tough to remove. Let me see if the plastic razor blade will help at all. I don't think so, but let's try. Nope, not really. Nope. Okay, we got most of the thicker parts, so that's kind of the important bit. Come on, get this junk off of it. Yeah, this adhesive is way too strong here. There's no reason for it being this strong. Is too much work to remove. Okay, you get the idea. If you want, you can just fast forward over this part, but I want to document the entire process. You can know exactly how long to expect it to take and everything. Okay. We're just going to get all this old adhesive off. Usually I would just reuse the adhesive that's there, but this one is like a foam that it's separated and there's actually no sticky part on top for it to stick to the other one. And it would just be a foam pad that's kind of pushing it away from the screen at this point. Okay, so there we go. We got all the bottom part off. Okay. Alright, so we're going to set that aside. And now the screen here. I don't know if there's a pull release tab here, but there's definitely one up here, only in this corner, which is really strange. There must be hidden, either somebody worked on this before or something, or I don't know. But anyways, there's a pull stretch release adhesive here. So the way you release this is you gotta lift this, grab it up, and we're gonna just pull it straight back, okay? Just like this. Okay, and then you kind of grab here, you can let it stretch back in, and then you go ahead and continue pulling. Then we're going to grab here, let it stretch back, and we'll continue pulling. Okay, so this adhesive releases as it stretches. That's how it works. Okay. Alright, so hopefully the screen model number is correct because the customer just gave me the resolution that they checked. So, okay. Uh-oh, it's stuck to itself. Oh no, okay. So this adhesive, it came out nice, so we can actually reuse this later. I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, the problem is, I don't know where the other stretch release tab is. Like, I can't reach one. I don't see one on this side, so I don't know what's going on with that. That's really strange. And I don't see one under here. Okay, so I don't know. I don't see one on this side, so we're gonna have to just rip the screen out, I guess. I mean, the screen's already badly destroyed, so let's go ahead and slowly pull this screen out. The adhesive, if you very slowly just keep pressure under it, it will slowly peel itself out, but it will take a very long time. I actually see the stretch release tab under there, but somehow it's like deep inside to where I can't reach that. So yeah, I don't know. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use some of these popsicle sticks to help hold this screen out of the way. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some needle nose pliers, and hopefully I can grab the adhesive tab in there. Okay, so I'm gonna just layer some popsicle sticks in there. Okay, maybe I can get a third one in. So I use that to help pry it forward, and then we can slip another one in. Okay, I mean, I know this thing's gonna just end up cracking the screen more, but I don't know if you can see, there's the adhesive tab in there. I'm gonna try and grab that with these needle nose pliers, and then hopefully we can release that by pulling it out. Okay, so get these a little bit out of the way so you can hopefully see. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna grab that. It has to get underneath, and then maybe I'll just have to squeeze it together. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so normally this stretch adhesive should be visible from up here as well, and you shouldn't have to do what I did to get that to show. So we're gonna separate that. All right, and we're just gonna remove this stretch release adhesive as well. Okay, we're just gonna continue the same thing. Okay. So the manufacturer messed up on this one to make it difficult to get to. All right. That. Continue stretching the adhesive. Again, you want to pull the adhesive straight back, because if you pull it up at an angle, it won't come out, and then you'll probably end up just destroying it. Okay, so here we go. We got this one, and yeah, the tab is fine. This is the non-sticky part. So for some reason it was just underneath the screen. It was way too far. Okay. All right, so now that we got both those stretch release adhesive tabs out, we should be able to flip the screen forward. Yep. Okay. And you can actually unroute this LCD cable to make it easier to work on. And we're just gonna flip this back this way. I have to be careful, there's screws everywhere. But let's see if I can get a good view for you guys here. I'm gonna end up knocking the screws over and I'm gonna regret it. Okay, but let's see here. Okay. Okay, so we have this here. There's a little metal latch. So you flip that metal latch up. Once you do that, you can pull that out. That's very interesting. There's no adhesive at all. Usually they put an adhesive to hold the screen cable there, but on this one, there's nothing. Okay, here you can see this is the model number on here. Oops, sorry. It's a NT156WHM-T02 version 8.0. The 156 is the screen measurement, so 15.6 inch diagonal. And it's the manufacturer of this screen is BOE. Okay, there you go if you want to see that, product number and everything. But the main thing is this NT156. All right, and the replacement screen, let's see here. Okay, NT156WHM-T02, same exact model, version 8.0, BOE. All right, so this is like one of the few rare times where the manufacturer actually, or the seller actually ships the same exact model that I ordered. Sometimes most of the time they'll ship like compatible models. All right. When you put this back, make sure that you have the gold pins facing up. You don't want to use the back. If you put it upside down, it's not going to work. So make sure you put it in the right way with the gold individual pins here facing up. All right. Then you want to make sure get the corner edges in. Okay. All right. Once you get the corner edges in, you can go ahead and use the little latch to pull it. You want to use push towards the bottom of the latch to help pull the connector into place, and then we can go ahead and flip that latch back down. All right, now let's go ahead and just get the screen back in, and we should be good to go. Okay, so we're gonna now flip the screen back over. Let's zoom out again. Okay, make sure the cables end up back on top the way they're supposed to be. Okay, I should have paid a bit more attention to how this wire was routed. Where'd all this dust come from? Okay, so judging by this, I'm gonna assume this wire goes under here, under these little notches here, okay? And then goes down this way, and then goes in here, is that right? Hopefully that's right. I don't know, it's kind of okay. It goes in that little groove. All right, so that fits. Let's get this dust off. Okay, so right now it looks glossy, but hopefully, yep, under the film it is matte, so that's what we want. Okay, and technically you don't need to put the adhesive back, but just to make it the same as before, I'm gonna do that, okay? It's going to be a little bit tricky to try and film it, but let's see here. How am I going to do this? So actually, let me take the screen back out first. Okay. Or at least I'll have it going off to the side here. Okay. All right, so we're going to have the screen hanging out here. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to get this thing and put this back in. All right. So what you want is this plastic piece will be sticking up here. You want it up close to the old wires. I don't know if one side, if it should be because there's a wider side and a thinner side. But you can see like this side is wider for some reason. I don't think it matters which way, as long as you just have that into place, okay? So we're gonna have that plastic part sticking out there. That's what we want, okay? And we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Okay, so we have that, and we're going to make sure this sticks out this time. Okay, and just drop that in. Good. All right, so now we have all of that dropped into place. We're going to now take the screen, flip it back over. Okay, and the thing with this, you want to make sure to guide the wire in properly. Okay, just like that. All right, and then we're gonna have to make sure to get the bottom edge of the screen in first. So line up the bottom edge with these little red rubber pads. Okay, and then we're gonna slowly lower this down. Make sure this wire goes in right. Okay, and then now that we got everything, make sure these wires are on top. Okay, make sure it's in the right place. Make sure it's centered. All right, and we'll slowly lower that down and drop it in place. There we go. And then you can go ahead and like put some light pressure on the sides to get the adhesive to reattach. All right, if you pull it up now, you can see the adhesive is holding it into place, and that's what we want. Okay, now for the tough part, because if we peel this off, the problem is we have to put the bezel back first, so we have to peel this off. So hopefully the screen works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but yeah, okay, let's go ahead and peel this back. You want to roll it off like this. You don't want to pull it straight up because that can put pressure on the screen and can damage it. So we're going to roll it off like this, okay, just like that. Okay, now we're gonna set this film aside. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, oh, I already got some palm prints on it. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna grab this, line that up, and it's usually easiest to do the top edge first. So once you get that lined up, you're gonna basically push at the top edge or the outer edge, okay, and just go all the way around and pushing the outer edge in. All right, sorry, I know it's getting blurry, but okay, so just work your way down the edges, around the edges. Okay, and then this one, it's a little bit tricky. You have to get the bottom down here in. Okay, same thing over here. Get that bottom edge in, and then you can work your way basically across the center here. Okay, and there we go. Everything is lined up and in place. All right, now we're gonna get this bezel. Again, you want the bottom piece facing down at the bottom, and we're gonna slide this from the right side here. Okay, so go from the right side, clip that into place. Hopefully the wireless antennas are in the right spot. I think it was under, and then this was to the side. Should be fine. All right, and then once you get that in, slide that over to lock it in, and you can see it's holding in good. All right, so I think the wireless antennas were supposed to be on top on this, and then this was supposed to be coming out from the side here. Okay, so on the side and on top, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but as long as it reaches, it should be okay. Okay, so we got the screen reassembled. All right, oh, go around, I guess go around the whole thing now, and then make sure everything is clipped in. Okay, I missed a few clips up here. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna reassemble this. So let's take the keyboard palm rest assembly and everything back. Okay, I'm gonna hang this over the edge of the desk again. Sorry, I know it's wobbly. Okay, so now you wanna hold these wires up and out of the way. Okay, we're gonna now drop this back in. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do to make it easier is I'm gonna hold on to the hinges like this on both sides. Then I'm going to use the back of the screen and help push this down like that. If you want, you can put the screws in first, but I do it this way so that way I can show it better. We can make sure, oops, we can make sure everything is lined up like this. Okay. All right, and then we're going to put in these 4 screws. So again, I'm going to use some red thread locker here. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna put back the 4 screws. So we're gonna put very little thread locker. I'm gonna see, I don't know how I'm gonna show this because I have screws everywhere, but okay, we're gonna do this one first. Put very little, not even a drop. You just wanna kind of get a small coating on there, okay? And we're gonna put that screw back in. Okay, I'm gonna do the other 3, same thing, very little. Go. Okay, let's go ahead and get the other 2. Same thing over here. Uh-oh, I just noticed something. Okay, so the wireless antenna somehow went underneath, so we gotta make sure that goes up properly. Okay, I think I'm gonna route the wireless antennas the other way on this side. So let's actually take this screw back out. I'm gonna have to redo the thread locker on there. Let's see if I can open this up. So I'm gonna hold the hinge down, and we're gonna carefully open the screen back up. Okay. All right, then I can push this out slightly, and I'm gonna route the antennas back underneath. Okay, so that way. Okay, so there we go. I messed it up, and then we're gonna hold the hinges and close that back up. Okay, so I actually had the antennas wrong. I think it has to go underneath, or at least has to go out this way to the front. Okay, then we're gonna go ahead and get this back in. Okay, and same thing with this one. Okay, tighten that in, good. Let's actually take this out and put a little bit of thread locker back since we took it out early. Just a little, there we go. All right, now to thread back in all the cables and everything. Flip this back over, let's zoom in here. Okay, so get this cable back through that little gap there and underneath, okay? Get this cable back in. Of course, make sure you get it the same way if you bought a replacement. The little pins should show through the plastic piece, okay? All right, get that lined up. And then I like to pinch both sides together just like that to make sure it gets connected. I'm gonna flip this latch up again, all right? And then we're gonna get this cable into place. All right, might have to do it at an angle. Get that lined up and get that in. All right. It's very important you have this cable in all the way, because if this is loose and you try and power it up, you can fry the backlight circuit. Okay, so there we go. Now we gotta get the fan into place. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so again, let's get these wires back in. So we're gonna tuck that into that little gap. There we go, and this one. All right, and we'll get the fan now. So this is a little bit tricky. We're gonna get the wire into this gap here and the wire into this gap here. Then we're gonna get this underneath, okay? So it goes underneath this piece and then into these. So it goes like that, all right? And then these go on top. Okay, and then these looped around this little screw hole. Okay, so it's going to be a little tricky here. Let's get this wire underneath and back on top. This wire underneath and back on top. Uh-oh, I'm getting a phone call. I'll have to wait. I'm almost done here. Okay, get that wire underneath and back on top. Let's get these screws in that hold the fan into place. Again, hopefully you kept the screws in order. Okay, just like this. Alright, get this one as well. Alright, I don't think it matters which cable is first. I'm going to put the gray one first just because that one plugs in on the outside or on the top, and then the white one or the black one. Okay, just like that. All right, let's go ahead and plug these back in so it kind of coils weird. Let me get this lined up. All right, the way you know it's lined up is if you try and move it around, the cable stays in place, then you can go ahead and push it down. All right, let's go ahead and get the second cable in and push that in. All right, so these don't even really make a snapping feeling or sound, but there we go. We got all the wireless antennas in. Let's go ahead now and get the battery back in. We have to zoom out a little bit for this. Okay, so we'll get this into place, line it up. All right, and pinch that in. There we go. Get all of this back into place, and then we'll get these screws back. Okay, at this point, now that we have everything reconnected, we can actually go ahead and try and power it on and see if everything works well. Hopefully I don't need to plug it in because the customer didn't give me the charger, but let's go ahead and see. All right, I'm gonna hold the hinges down in place here, and we're gonna open this up. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and power it up. And okay, I see the power light is on. That's good. And the screen just went black and it's lighting up, and there we go. You can see actually the screen is good, so we should be good to go. We're just going to put the bottom cover back on. It's always a good idea to also do a restart in Windows with any big hardware changes. If you're getting a gap here and if it annoys you, you can put a piece of adhesive there, but again, it's not necessary. So you can actually just leave it like that. If there's a little adhesive, you can kind of push it and it'll stick a little. Alright, it was doing some update, but here you can see 12/13, February 15th, and let's go ahead now and turn this off. Oh, this is actually touchscreen. Okay, so anyways, we're going to shut this down. Okay, and then we're going to carefully close this again. I'm going to, again, hold the hinges with my thumbs here, and I'm going to use the screen to push it down like that. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get the bottom cover back on, and we should be good to go. I don't think I disconnected anything else. Yep. All right, so bottom cover back on, just like this. Actually, probably should have done a thumbnail. This can be the thumbnail, I guess. All right, and let's go ahead and get this back on. So just go like that, click the back in first, and then just go all the way around. I'm pushing in somewhat towards the center as I kind of push down to make sure the clips aren't getting too much force on them. But there we go. All right, and that's pretty much it. Let's get all the screws back in. Again, if this video helped you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Other than that, that's pretty much it. All right, you're welcome to stay as I put back the rest of the screws. One other thing with the screen, you do want to know what the resolution of your screen was. I think the customer told me theirs was like 1366 by whatever resolution, and that's how I kind of ordered the same screen. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. All right, I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's get these last few screws in. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Let's drop this spike.